Good morning. This is Joanna. Early this morning with my coffee. And I hope you all doing well. I don't have a story for you really today with my coffee, but I have a little advice. And I would like for maybe I would like for you to comment on this video as well. The reason why, is I'm going to give you some advice and I want you to give me some feedback. And you got to know if an elder is giving advice, 9 times out of 10, that person has been through that, actually lived it, seen it, know the outcome, not just one circumstance, but over and over in that lifespan, if she called or he called himself an elder. And I call myself an elder. Okay, now, I don't know what the title of this is going to be because I do my titles after I shoot my videos, really. But I want to tell you, and I hope it falls on somebody's ear that really needs what I'm saying. I pray that it does. I did a video way back about being the product of older parents, me. Now, it's no big deal. Women are having babies in their late 30s, late 40s, even 50. They're having, but you got to remember what I said in those videos. Honey, if you're not wealthy enough to, or healthy enough to even think about having a kid at that age, I wouldn't do it. And that was just my advice to you. And I had a reason for this is because if you are not wealthy enough where someone actually, you have a maid or you have help or you're so physically fit, you just believe in your mind that you're going to last for 20 years at least with this child. 20 years. When you're 42 or 45 like that, having your first child. I'm saying this to say this. I've told you I was a product of older parents. When I was born, my mom was 42. And my dad was 65. When my parents passed away, I was 5. When my father died, I had just turned 6 in April, and he passed in June. April the 27th, then May, and then the first part of June, like that. Well, the last part of June, like the 30th. But anyway, I didn't get to first grade. Not to first base. Kindergarten, preschool, yeah, but not to first grade. And that was something he promised me. I was going to the big school. Okay? Now, my mom was, how old? You add 6 on, she was 48. By this time, at 48, now that's still young now, these days and time. These days and time are different. Medicine is different. Health advice is different. People are different. The atmosphere is different. And circumstances were the same way back then. They're different than they are now. These people these days, women, if they are not rich, the government practically take care of people. You know, if you don't, they help you with housing and some of everything. Then you got medicine, you got all kinds of stuff I don't think people even have to pick their fingers anymore for diabetes. They just put it on the machine. Things have changed, let me tell you, from when I was a child coming up and being reared by, just say my mother alone, because my dad was gone before it even got started good. I'm saying all this to say this. 9 times out of 10, if you have a child, if you couldn't have a child or some reason you were not fertile enough to have a child at your young age and you did meet a man that he is financial enough, or you're financial, stable enough to you can afford to do this and go to these fraternal clinics, then that means that you are financially able. But honey, back in the day, what I'm talking about, it was hell, not only for that parent, for the child, especially if your mother had a whole nother family before you were even born. What I mean by that, you have nieces your same age, born in the same year you. That means her grandkids. Also, you have nieces and nephews that were born like 1, 2, and 3 years before you, her grandkids. She got a whole nother set. So grandmamas love their grandkids. My mama was no different. So they gravitate, but then what about this one? Your own one. So then you got other older kids, they kind of be left holding the bag. That's why I said in the video, if you yourself is not physically fit. I'm not talking about your children before this child was born, old enough to be left out. No. You think about that child only. Because you're going to leave that child feeling some kind of way if you are not financially, set to where this person will not feel or have to do anything different than if one parent died or something like that and left like that. She won't feel a shifting. And on top of a shifting, losing one parent, the one that she has is teaching her so much until she's taken off and actually growing to a woman at age 6 or 7 or 8 years old. She's being taught things that children just don't know. And this 7-year-old or 8 years old, and then you might say, oh, that's good. No, that's not good for... Since when you seen a 7 or 8 year old prepare an entire meal or bake a cake or iron clothes or do all this stuff, let me tell you, when you're a child, the Bible says you act as a child. When you become an adult, then you put away your childish way. What if that child never had child things to do? What about that child? So that is the forgotten child. Because this person got children old enough to be your last child parent. So you have this child being told what to do by, just say she had 12 children, 11 people. brothers and sisters that's all over her, and grown adults with children and married with wives that you go stay with them for the summer. So when is your personal time with your mother? So let me tell you this. This really is for the women and or men that are having kids at later age and thinking in your mind because you have other adult children, oh, that'll be all right if something happened to me because Jane and Bobby, they old enough to take care of this one. That's the wrong way to look at it. And the thing, you ain't got to worry about this child feeling like she got to bake a cake and cook a meal and all that in these days and time, because a parent would be arrested if a child did the things that I did as a child and walked places that I walked. I had a friend that tell me one time, we were in a conversation and she said, oh yeah, I forgot you were always working and you were always going off to do it. And I'm talking about I was a child. Yeah, they were at piano lessons and they were playing. I was deprived from that. And then on top of that, when the summer came, I was shipped off like a baggage because it was summertime. So what I'm saying is, honey, don't get your child, even in these days, and you done mess around now and waited till you get 40 years old to have a baby. And just because you have a daughter that's 14 years old, you turn that baby over to her. Your health start failing, whether you know it or not, after you leave at your 20s. You start seeing your first gray hair after in your 30s. Some people gray in their 30s are like that. So here you are, got this baby, you getting sick. But you have a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old child. They gonna be mothers of this child. You may not see nothing wrong with it because the child is getting everything they need. That's what you thinking. They getting everything, she getting everything she need except for you. The smell of you, the touch of you, the hug of you. Every kid want to feel like they're special and they're, it's a reason, that you were born other than you were a slave. Like that. So, and I know the grace of God would be in it if a woman grew up and faced all kind of obstacles in her life. Everything, but it just hung on to one thing that a father told her when she was 5 years old, that wherever you are, Jesus is there and you can always talk to him and he would hear you. If he hadn't have told this child this, no telling where her life would have taken off. Because I'm telling you, if you are not physically and mentally capable or able to have a child financially for you to raise your own child, not your sister or nothing like that, and you having the child and you are alive and the kid watching you, want to be in your arms, not the sister. Then the child will grow up after a while going to the sister for advice, and the sister kind of stepping in the place of the mother. That causes all kind of chaos, especially if that sister have, say, a daughter maybe a year older than you, and that sister gravitate toward her little sister out of like pity or something. Well, they're going to start a whole nother thing with her own daughter. So look here, honey. I'm telling you, if you're thinking about having kids at a later age, number one, be financially stable. The husband and the wife, look at the age group. Are you around the same age? How is his health? Is he going to have a heart attack soon as his baby born? All of that, honey. Bringing children in the world should be something we think about. Okay? But now these look like, I'm not going to, that's a whole nother story, about that. I don't want to get off on that. But yeah, that's what it is this morning. Give a thought. If you are 40 above and you're thinking about having a kid, think about your health, the father's health. And if you have other kids, don't think about them other kids. You might think about you writing a will or something like that, but I'm telling you, it's going to be really sad if you depend on that child when she grow up to be a nursemaid to you instead of a daughter or actual nursemaid. That's too much for a child. Yeah, that's too much. You deprive, you take, and then absolutely do nothing with her in school, go nowhere with her, nothing like that. Then she'll grow up doing her own kids like that, feeling like she doesn't have to participate. Like, look at me. Look how I turned out. But not even recognizing what it made her feel like when her mama didn't show up because her sisters were there. But suppose your daughter don't have a sister. Suppose she the only daughter and you don't take her to functions or something like that because you feel like, my mama didn't do it to me and look what I turned. So this thing can be a vicious cycle, and I think that you should plan. Family planning need to come back more. Family planning need to be a focus. I don't know if it'll ever come back into the rural again, but it should. Even among married couples. I don't think that married people ought to just, soon as they get married, have a kid. I think they should learn how to live with each other first. Yeah, but anyway, that's on another subject. But excuse me, I don't know why I got gas this morning, but this is Joanna. My space in your place. Coming to you with another video this morning with a morning coffee. And saying, think about parent planning, especially over the hill parents. Yeah, 40 and above. Because you're looking at a product. You can ask me any questions in the comment. Or if you felt like I felt growing up after my dad died. 1 minute he was there, 1 minute he was gone. All things happening like that in my life. Every day was Sunday. But the grace of God that kept me throughout my life. But some people they're not grounded and rooted. And I hate for any child to be, go get my diaper, go put that baby on the diaper, telling you that, the child. And you know what? But let me just say one more thing before I hang up. My family used to come at me and say I spoil my kids because I cleaned my house, I cooked my food, I bought them things. I gave them trips. You know why? Because I was the mother. Yeah, I was their mother. I didn't allow my daughter wanted to babysit. She got paid. You better believe that. And 9 times out of 10, when she babysat, it was for one of my girlfriends, and I was there with them or something like that because I didn't allow her to everybody's house. That's just how it went with me and my one daughter that I had and the 2 sons. But they worked because I wanted to show them what it was to be, they had to work. Me and work and save and stuff like that. So, but far as them having to fend for themselves and wondering where their dinner gonna come from and them having to go in after school and scrap around, I hired a maid when I had got 2 jobs, a housekeeper, the cook and clean, because my kids, I wasn't gonna leave that there for them. They didn't ask to come here. And I got flack from my family, which it was none of their business because I was a childhood slave and mine was not going to be that way. So this is Joanna with the morning coffee saying you have a great day. And just leave in the comments if you want me to retell that story on a late night. Okay, I would tell that story on a late night story. All right, so just leave it in there. If you have any things, if you were a childhood slave or if you were born of older parents or you were a product of over-the-hill parents or one parent died before you were a certain age and all you had to do all this stuff, let me know that I'm not alone, okay? Okay, I love you and God bless you and talk to you later. Bye-bye.